This video is going to introduce solving equations. So let's say you have a seesaw and you have 50 pounds. So imagine 50 pounds on this side and 50 on another. If I add 3 pounds to one side, to the left, it's not balanced anymore. So you'll see this side is now tipping this way and this one is up higher. But if I add another 3 on the other side, so if I add 3 on both sides, now it's balanced. Equations are like seesaws. You have to keep them balanced. Both of the equations have to be equal. Whatever you do to one side, you have to one side of the equal sign, you have to do the other. So example 1, solve algebraically. So I'm going to show you how to solve. So in order to solve, I want to know what this x is by itself. So in order to know that, I want x equals something. Okay. So I'm going to I want this -2 beside it to just disappear. Now I have to perform the opposite operation to do that. So if I add 2 to here, -2 plus 2 becomes 0. Great, but I just learned that I have to keep things balanced. So if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other side. Okay, so x minus 2 plus 2, that's just x. And then 6 plus 2 is 8. So I've just solved this algebraically. Okay. I know now that x equals 8. That's what solving means. It wants to know what the variable is that would make this true. And think about it. If I put this 8 here, 8 minus 2 is equal to 6. That's correct. Same idea here. I want to know what x is by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite operation. Positive 7. If I subtract 7 from that, that's 0. So that 7 would be gone there. But I can't just do it on one side. I have to do it on the other. 7 minus 7 is 0. So that's just x, because x plus 0 is just x. And then -2 minus 7 is -9. Okay, so notice I'm actually showing my work. I'm showing that I subtracted 7 from here and kept it balanced by doing it on the other side. Now I know x is equal to -9. Always doing the opposite operation. So you'll notice if this is plus, that becomes minus. Okay, here was minus, that was plus. Okay, again, I want x by itself. Okay, I don't want this -2 beside it. So I'm going to do the opposite of it. I'm going to add 2 here. That makes it 0. And add 2 here. Because I'm keeping it balanced. So if I add 2 there and add 2 here, -2 plus 2 is 0. And then x is still there. -2 plus 2 is 0. So x is 0. Does that true? -2. 0 minus 2. Well, yeah, that's -2. So both sides would be -2. Here are some more examples. So before we just added and subtracted, now I have to look at the opposite of multiplication. Here I have 4x. This means 4 times x, because I have 4 x's. The opposite of multiply is divide. So if I divide this side by 4, what happens? 4x divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. That leaves me with 1x. I have to keep it balanced, so I'd have to divide the other side by 4 as well. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. Same thing on the other side. Same thing for the other one. So 1x equals 5 there. I have a -3 in front of this x. Remember, I just want to know what is x, not how much is 3x. So I would divide this by -3. The exact same number, the same sign. Do that to this one as well. Okay. Keeping it balanced. Both sides, same operation. -18 divided by -3 is -6. No, made a mistake there. Negative divided by negative is actually positive. So it's positive 6. And -3 divided by 3, -3 is just 1, so I just write x. Okay. 6 equals x is the same as writing x equals 6. It's the same thing written both ways. Okay. You might wonder in C, why am I solving here? It already says k equals 11, but this says negative k equals 11. I don't want to know what negative k is. I want to know what is k. So remember from before, there's an imaginary 1 there. So I would divide both sides by that number, which is negative 1. So k is actually negative 11. So notice, multiply, we divide by 4. So we divide. Here where there's multiplication, we divide it. Here is multiplication, we divide it. Here we have division. The opposite of division is multiply. So I would multiply this side by 2 so that I get 1, which means I have to multiply this side by 2. Okay. 2x over 2 is just x, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 6 times 2 is 12. Okay. Same idea here. Multiply this side by 3. And multiply this side by 3 because I want this x by itself. Opposite of division is multiply. This will become just this is the same as looking at it like this, 3x over 3. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Well, 3 over 3 is just 1, so negative 6 equals x. And there you have an introduction to solving. So remember, opposites, adding to subtracting, or vice versa. So that's what you're doing. Okay. And then multiplying to dividing. Those are the opposites. So you go from subtraction to addition or addition to subtraction. You're always doing the opposite operation. And then multiplying, go to dividing, or dividing, go to multiplication. Just to get x by itself. Watch the next video to see more solving with two steps.